Hello fellow simmers, it's Samuel Beamon of BLS here, and welcome to another Train Simulator Classic video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Steam Sound Supreme Severn Valley Railway super detailed route. So this route has been sent over kindly by Matt of Steam Sound Supreme for us to get an exclusive look at the new route before it's released to the public. And I just want to say, Matt, thank you ever so much for sending this over. And yeah, we'll give it a good look for you. I just want to put it out there that SSS have recently put out a GoFundMe page called Buy Me a Coffee. Basically, they are going through some financial situations at the moment, so if you'd like to donate to them, I shall link their Buy Me a Coffee link in the description of the video. But yeah, so very kindly, Matt has sent this over to us to have a little look round and have a look at the brand new route before it is released out to the public. So we're going to be using the two latest BLS releases, which is Class 20, 2205 and 20007. They are the two recent mini EPs that we've released. The reason I'm actually using these is because of the fact that all of the quick drive consists that utilise diesel locomotives don't actually work with the Armstrong Powerhouse sound packs, so they're quite glitchy and buggy in that regard. So basically, if you have the Armstrong Powerhouse sound pack installed, the quick drives for the diesels won't work properly for you, really, unfortunately. But that is just how it is. But nevertheless, you know, it gives me the opportunity to take the new 20s out for a drive. So I just want to say, guys, a very Merry Christmas to you all, because it will be Christmas time now once this video has been released. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this first look preview and review. So I'm going to have a look around the route because obviously, you know, this is just absolutely stunning already. I can see this is something that I've been anticipating for quite some time. I've been looking at this route for a while. I believe it was started by somebody in the community, actually. Was it a Train Sim Andy or something like that? I think he was working on it, and I know that one of the SSS guys, Jonathan, was working on this route as well, super detailed one. But yes, we've got this this new Kidderminster town sign, which already I'm seeing is actually 3D. Would you look at that? Because I know that the original was sort of a photo textured station sign, and yeah, it's now 3D. Look at that, isn't that smart? You know, so we've got new assets there. We've got the litter bins all present. We'll come over to Kidderminster Station itself. Yes, this looks pretty accurate to real life. I've actually been to the Severn Valley Railway twice, I believe. I went in 2016 to see Scotsman, and then 2018 to do a driver experience on the Class 33. We've got a little milk bottle down here. I'm pretty certain I have all of the requirements for the route, so I don't really know what that is. Neither do I know what these are. So I'm obviously missing a route of some sort because I do have some milk bottles lying around. But nevertheless, I should have I should have all the requirements really. So I don't know what I'm actually missing. That might have to be something to discuss with SSS to find out what I'm actually missing. But yeah. Yeah, but obviously, as you can see already, you know, it's certainly looking a lot better than the previous rendition of this route. The previous rendition was, I mean, it was good for its time, but it was incredibly old, and to be honest, it required far too much, had too many requirements needed for the route, and I think that was one of its biggest downfalls. But luckily, with this one, it's not as requirement heavy, I don't think, compared to the old version. So, you know, it's more accessible to the public, shall we say. We've even got the miniature railway track here as well at Kidderminster, which is all present and as it should be. I believe this is 7 1/4 in real life. Yes, it is, and I like this. We've even got like a shrunk down HST to sort of 7 1/4 with people on top. That is clever. Oh, that is clever. So he's made this out of basically flatbed wagons, which have been shrunk, and containers on the top to sort of indicate the sort of the, you know, sit on ride on train. Yeah, I like that. That's very well done. But yeah, oh, we've got some more bits and pieces over here as well. We've got a little shunter here which has been shrunk down and kind of stretched and like crushed, which to be honest is quite funny because with these these miniature 7 1/4 gauge locos, you do often get like 7¼ inch gauge locomotives trying to resemble a full-size locomotive, but not being completely right in the means of measurements, and it's a bit crushed and a bit weird. So that's good in that regard. So they've kind of recreated that with this. Yeah, so that's fair enough. But yeah, already I can see that Kidderminster is looking absolutely fantastic. It really is looking stunning. I've been here in real life, so I know what it looks like and what it should look like, and I can see that this is pretty spectacular. It is definitely there in the means of the detail there, and I've got to get a screenshot because it just looks so nice, doesn't it? But yeah, we've got all the grass here, which is, I believe this could be Vulcan Production grass pack. I'm not sure. I'm going to hazard a guess it probably is. We've got all the signs and bits and pieces here, like the Beware of Train signs. We've got the VP track, obviously now the new track type. We've got bits of rubbish and other bits and pieces down here. Obviously heading over to the yard. Yes, I'm definitely missing a piece of DLC here. We are missing some yard clutter here. Actually, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it's a yard clutter pack that I'm actually missing. I know I've got the 71E simulations one, but I think there is actually a new yard clutter pack that's been released recently, which I haven't managed to obtain yet. So that is probably what the milk bottles are. So yeah, I do apologise for that, guys. I did think I had all the requirements installed. But yeah, so we've got 50007 here, Hercules, we've got a 20 in there, and just, the sheds, you can go inside the sheds. I'm guessing these are probably lifting jacks that I'm missing there. That's what I'm going to hazard a guess. But yeah, we've got the carriage shed here as well. I think some of these assets have been reused from the previous route, but some of them are new. I know this diesel depot asset is brand new. That's a newly built one, which is it's done really quite nicely. Actually, it suits. It looks like it does in real life, so that's all good. But yeah, so what we're going to do today is we're actually going to obviously drive down the route, and I'm going to try and stop off at all the stations along the route so we can have a good look round them and see what's changed and what's different. But yeah, the amount of detail that's been put in this is very, very nice so far. We've got bits of tarpaulin just sat around there. We've got the mainline station over here of Kidderminster as well, with the class 150, which in Central Trains livery. It's quite. I don't know about that, but I'm going to hazard a guess that's probably standing in for the 71 or 172s, which usually obviously come down here. But yeah, so this is a car park. Obviously, here's the entrance to Kidderminster, which is looking nice. I believe this is the same asset as used on the original route, which is fair enough. Why redo it? Because the actual original asset with the original route actually didn't look too bad, and it was done really nicely. So I think that's just been reused. We've got all these buildings as well, like the custom sort of buildings outside the station as well, including the Greyhound Inn. We've also got this, which is really nice, the sort of the sign into the station, obviously showing Kidderminster Railway Museum. We've even got signs there, no entry signs and stuff like that. We've got the BR, obviously the BR station sign. But yeah, it is looking nice, to be fair. I've been quite excited for this. I've been looking forward to the new Severn Valley. It's something that I've wanted for a little while, and I think that the original route didn't really get justice. It just wasn't the best. I mean, the original route, I'm going to be honest, was probably one of the more worse routes that were done on the SSS website, and I know that's just my opinion. Others may think differently, but that's my opinion. I was never too keen on the original, so to get a nicer version like this, a proper version, it really has turned the tables in that regard. Anyhow, let's unpause the game and get ourselves driving along the route, shall we? So here we are with 2205 and 20007. These are both now available via the British Locomotive Studios website. I shall link the link in the description of the video so you can go and download them. Currently on my versions I have the sound mods applied as well, so we've got new exterior engine sounds playing, which were kindly donated courtesy of 37427 Lee Scott, who is a YouTuber, and yeah, he's kindly allowed us to use his sound recordings of the Class 20 for use in the engine sound mod for them. So yeah, thanks ever so much, Lee, on that. So yeah, let's get 2205 set up. So if we press Control 1, it operates our head code lights, and then H operates our headlight. So we go into the cab and set up our cab. Master key in. I should have been put in engine only. There we go. We'll release the train brake and put our loco brake on. And there we go. And this is the cab of 205, which just looks absolutely stunning. I mean, this pack itself, you know, these new 20s are just absolutely stunning. They transform the Just Trains Class 20. They really do. You know, all down to all these fantastic 4K texturing and, you know, new objects. You know, 205 has practically a brand new front end. You know, and it's just, they really are something else. Very, very proud. The team is very, very proud of these two releases recently. Right. Put ourselves into forward and we'll get on the move. I'll just check that our points are set actually, because we have got a red signal, which is interesting. But our points are set, so I don't know what that's all about. Maybe I need to creep towards it. Yeah. We'll creep up to it and see what happens. Well, it says approved to pass at danger, so... I'm using the Riviera coaching stock done by Sam for this test, you know, just for the route, because, you know, it's the most suitable rolling stock for these. As technically 2007, sorry, and 2205 are air only, so... Yeah, so it's 10 mile an hour at Kidderminster, as it should be. We've got the lovely signal gantry here as we're going under towards the home signal. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on with the signals here. They should be working, but they don't seem to be. This is the test version of the route, so it might not be 100%. Okay, it says approved. Oh, now it's gone to clear. Okay, yep, so we have got the green, that's good. It's nice to see stock spawning in, so basically if you don't have all of the quick drive requirements with this route, don't worry about it, because stock will still spawn in depending on what you have installed in your train sim install, which is quite good actually. So if you don't have certain things for the quick drives, don't worry, because you will still be able to use them. I am speeding slightly actually as it happens, but oh well, we're coming into the 25 limit anyway. Frame rate wise on the route so far, I'm actually getting quite a steady frame rate. It's not too bad. What are we getting? We're getting 45 frames a second at the minute, leaving Kidderminster. That's really not bad, all things considered. I just want to put it out there, there's all the detail in the gardens as well. Look at that. That's fantastic. And for a steady frame rate, you know, for all this detail, that's really quite good. I can see this has been built off of the old version of the route because I can see a lot of the original sort of 2D trees that were used on the old version of the route. But it's not too bad because obviously that's all in the distance, so, you know, that's not too much of an issue. I mean, just look at that. You know, down these streets and stuff, all the detail that's been put in. We've got like skips and other bits and pieces, you know. That's really nicely done, you know. You can actually see stuff down the streets as you pass by. You know, they've put attention to detail, obviously, in the areas that you can actually see from the train. Looks good from the cab. This was another reason why I wanted to drive a diesel on this showing off, because of the fact that you know, I've got a nice open cab, so I can see pretty much everything that I'm obviously passing by. Yeah, look, we've got bits of piles of sleepers and, you know, different styles of foliage as well. I'll tell you what, I'm impressed so far. The frames that I'm getting on this are very, very good. It's not like what I got with the West Somerset Railway and, you know, some of the other super detailed routes. My favourite super detailed route that SSS have done at the moment was the Midhants Railway, mainly because you know, personally I thought that it looked the best and it ran quite well as well. The West Somerset was a bit of a letdown, in all honesty. The track work was a bit meh, and the scenery, I think it was a bit too much. This, it looks lovely and it seems to run very, very nice so far as well. But remember, that could change. Obviously this is only the first bit of the route, so we don't know as we get further down it. It's a shame we're not going in the opposite direction, actually, to thrash in this tunnel towards Kidderminster, but... really, I should have chosen the opposite direction, but I thought I'd show off Kidderminster first, because, you know, that's like the main headquarters of the railway. It just sets the scene a little bit, you know. Someone commented about a random tree which was placed down here. It looks like it's been removed, so that's good. So it now looks as it should be. Poppy field over there. Yeah, this is looking nice. Oh, I'm speeding. Sorry, I'm trying to look at all the lovely scenery, and I'm speeding. It's very difficult to drive and look at the scenery at the same time. You can tell I'm quite impressed with it just by obviously how I'm going off how I'm going off task. Ah, so we're coming up to Safari Park now. Oh, wow. Oh my god, there's elephants! No way! No way! And zebras. Someone's... Okay, now this is impressive, okay? Someone has gone to the time to model animals for the, for the safari park. I mean, come on, that is just absolutely fantastic. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. That is such a great little, a little addition to the route. That is just brilliant. We've got all the cabling as well alongside the track. Okay, you know what? This is looking absolutely spectacular. I'm not kidding. I'm very much happy with this already. Oh well, shit. We've got a 10 limit. I tell this has been worth the wait, really. Got headboards on there, look. Well, what's going on there then? Okay. Yeah, so the mogul appears to be a bit glitched. That's weird. But there you go. We've got some more milk bottles there. Yeah, I'm definitely missing some. It's a yard clutter pack. That's what I'm missing. That's probably where all the milk bottles are coming from. I would have been good to go into the other platform because we've got quite a long train on us, but sounds like we've got some new sound effects as well around the route. Some nice signalling there. I believe they were on the original version of the route as well. Yeah, so these are the old signals, you can tell. But, I mean, to be fair, they're not the best. But, they are unique signals, and, if they work, they work. So we've got Bewdley North Box. Smart, you can tell these are from the original Severn Valley route, just by the age of the models, but they work. They work nicely. I mean, this sign's nice. Bewdley in 3D. I mean, to be fair, that's bloody chunky. So maybe a little bit too chunky, but it's nice. It's there nonetheless. Yep. Oh, look, fish and chips. That's nice. Got like a menu of the food that they're selling at Bewdley Station. In the cafe. Got all the seats, benches. We've got these wagons here, which look smart with the tracks on them, with the rails even. This isn't a custom shed, but at least they've sort of kit bashed it and made it work. Friends of Minehead Station. Okay. I would have put something over that to cover it, so you don't see Minehead Station, but that's just me. It's not too much of a big deal. Got all of this detail up on the cutting. Let's just go over to the Bewdley South box. Yep, that's nice. You know, we've got a little man outside of it as well. This is the second platform. I mean, these assets are definitely showing their age now. Like, you can just tell by the, you know, the texturing on them that it's not like the best thing in the world. But as I say, they work. You know, if they do the job, you can't complain. I mean, we used the old UKTS assets for the Severn Valley Railway route and sort of updated them ever so slightly. They're not the best assets at all because they're just due to their age, because they were made a long time ago. But they work as the custom assets because it does take a long time and a lot of skills and effort to be able to make custom assets for TS. So as long as it works and they are custom and they represent the station well, then it's okay to leave them there. You know, so you can't complain about that. The station signs have definitely been changed because we didn't used to have 3D station signs, as far as I know. They were just photo textured ones. So fair play for making new station sign assets. We've got other bits and pieces like this sign that says Kidderminster Town there, which is pretty good because obviously that's pointing to platform 2 to you know, to let people know that that's the Kidderminster side. Got a weird like change of audio underneath that bridge. I'm not sure if I like that or not. But I can see why they did it. But there we go. So that is Bewdley Station. And oh, just look at the view. You know, we've got a little guy down here with his bike. Got gates down here. You know, there's even little bits of detail that you can look around, you know, on the streets. Cars and other bits and pieces. Yeah, it really is lovely. Look, we've even got like just bits of flowers outside these, you know, these buildings. I mean, you don't have to go to that detail, but they've done it. You know, so fair play. Oh, I'll tell you what. Sort of a wedge fest here. Very smart. Yeah, get a couple of screenshots for us. Right, let's move on. It's 10 out here, but we'll be able to open it up as we pass by Bewdley. Oh wow! Look, people in their garden, enjoying themselves. People on the streets. Look at this. Cars in the garage. Missing asset there again, so I've got to cut it a little bit, but... I'm not sure if it's meant to be a downhill gradient down here. I'm sure there's meant to be an uphill gradient here somewhere. Maybe I'm coming up to it now. I mean, it seems to be downhill all the way here. Or it's because of the amount of horsepower I've got behind me. We'll give ourselves a bit of thrash. Why not? Oh. Yes, I very much liked that. I think you guys did too. Look at all these different, difference in foliage. I am getting some odd track bumps now and again, I've noticed though. This was one of the issues that the West Somerset Railway had. The super elevation was just not very good on it. It just wasn't done very smoothly. See, that bit wasn't too bad. Oh yeah, just look at this. Got sheep in there. Almost like I don't want to go too fast because I miss all of this like lovely detail. You know? I'm not going to stop at Northwood Holt because they don't stop there usually on a service, but we'll have a quick look at it. Oh, that's 10 mile an hour speed restriction over here. Oh, I forgot about that. It's been so long since I've driven on the Severn Valley or been anywhere near the Severn Valley Railway in real life, so it's like, trying to familiarise myself with it again is quite difficult. Northwood Holt, again, 3D, plates or well, station names. Got a van there. We've got all this lovely detail here. We've got some floaty, bits and pieces here and there. To be honest, that could have been smoothened off maybe, but that's not too big of a deal. Got lovely detail up here as well, look. I need to update my 20007 actually because I've just realised I've got texture corruption issues on it still. That's been updated since then. We'll give it some noise as we're behind it like this. This is definitely one of those routes where you'll drive along it and you'll see like loads of different things the more you drive along it. I think it's fair to say that you couldn't really cover everything that's been included detail wise within this route in one review. you'd need to drive it up and down a good few times to see everything, you know. You know, because look, we've got stuff over there, you know, animals and stuff in the distance. You know, it's this could be a redemption for the Severn Valley Railway. This could be, you know, giving it the spark it needed within Train Simulator. Because as I say, the old route is just, it's just not that good, to be honest. It just isn't, and I think Steam Sound Supreme know this, and that was one of the reasons to why it got removed from the website and then just plonked into, you know, a newsletter release, you know, because they knew that it wasn't the best route that they produced. But, you know, to have this, you know, they've really gone to town with this, and you can tell the love and care that they put into this, and they've thought to themselves, right, the first version wasn't great, we need to up our game, we need to make this one as good as we can get it. It needs to run smoothly, it needs to look lovely, you know, it needs to have that spark, and I think that they've done that with this route. Oh yeah, 15 limit over the viaduct. This is the Victoria Bridge, the famous Victoria Bridge. This would be an interesting one to have a look at, actually. There it is, the Victoria Bridge. It's nice to get some screenshots here and there, isn't it? But yeah, look at this. Look, we've got allotments and general garden assets which has just been placed down. The bird sounds as well, you know, it feels alive, and that is just, yeah. What's that? Oh look, a wheelbarrow. You know, there's so many different things. I mean, just look at it. I've got to say, guys, I'm impressed with this. I actually am. Yeah. Fair play. So as far as I heard, that with the Buy Me a Coffee subscription, you will be able to get this route on early access. I don't know when the route is going to be available for early access, but if you do donate and be a member and subscriber of the Buy Me a Coffee, if you choose to become a member, you will get a copy of this route for as early access before it gets released. So I don't know if it's been released now, but yeah, it is. As I say, I'm impressed with this. So this is Arley. I actually, this is where I actually started my driver experience from. This station here. Well, just beyond this station was when I started it. If you're interested in that video, actually, I will link it in the description of the video as well. If you want to see my Class 33 driver experience along the Severn Valley, it was a fantastic experience. We drove from. Well, I spent the whole day on the loco. I believe I spent the first morning or first run in the coaches, and then I went to the rear cab on the second run, and then I was second man on the third run and driver on the fourth, something along those lines. Although we only got to drive half of the route though, unfortunately. We didn't actually get to drive the full line, which is a shame. I think that's the only thing I will say about the Driver X on that. So here we are, this is Arley. The famous spot for Oh Dr. Beeching. This is where the Oh Dr. Beeching film, well, series was filmed. We've got Arley signal box here. You've got like a buffet car there, well, sleeper coach by the looks of it, for staff or something. We've got a traction engine just outside the station. Oh wow, look at that. Open for tea, coffee, hot chocolate, sandwiches, homemade cakes, soup, crisps and ice cream. I like details like this. The refreshment room. There's a guy out there drinking his coffee. Dude there taking photos. We've got this nice photo textured sign here, which looks very realistic. Obviously what it should do, it's photo textured. With all the train times on it. Posters, telephone boxes, hanging baskets, signs. Look, we've even got like almost an interior, sort of. But it gives a nice effect that there is an interior. Obviously there's no actual interior in there, but it gives that effect that there is. I like that. Train departures, look. Departure board. Really nicely done. All signs are 3D again. Going over to the other platform. Got the waiting shelter. With loads of bits and pieces in here. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I think Jonathan has smashed it. Because I know that SSS didn't actually build this route one, or Matt had some involvement in it. But I believe there was 2 other individuals who are not necessarily a part of SSS, but they're third-party developers who made this route. And, you know, the guys involved on this route have done an absolutely sterling job of this. I can tell, you know, love and care has been put into to making this. Because, you know, they too probably sat and, you know, looked at the old SSS Severn Valley and gone, yeah, this needs to be made better. You know, what can we do to make it look better? And this is what they've come out with. And boy, have they made it look better. Let's see my frame rate again. I'm getting a solid 60 frames a second out of here, and all this scenery is in front of me, look. Well, nearly 70 frames a second. That is very, very good performance, all things considered. Very good performance. Yeah, this was the section of line that I started driving from here now, basically. So from this section onwards to Bridge North, let's hope that my route knowledge is still, you know, 100%. Which I don't think it will be, because, you know, it was 2018, so you're talking almost 10 years ago. Oh, there's a bit of a jolt there, that was interesting. But I can say, looking at this from the cab view perspective, I do recognise it. You know, it's very recognisable, this section. Yep. The sheep down there, funnily enough, was actually there when I drove the route in real life. So, you know, they do have actual sheep down there. You know, it's... In fact, it's in my video. It's in my video. So have a look in the video, and you'll see, as the second man who was filming, you know, pans around this area, you'll see the sheep and, you know, stuff in the fields. I had a very good driving instructor that day, Julian Hills, I believe, or Julian Halls. Can't remember his name exactly, but yeah, he was very good. Look at all this grass and stuff down here, you know, right? I'll put my frame rate back up again. Okay, it's dropped down to 20, but we're going back up to 50 now, look, you know? But the drop of frames there was just tile lag. That's all that was there. Yeah, see, I start talking and then I end up, you know, forgetting that there's a 15 limit here. Yep, I remember this. This is spot on. This is spot on. This whole crossing area here is spot on. Actually spot on. Detail. Yeah, we can go up to 25 now. Yeah, I want to start slowing down again now though, because we're coming up to a 15 limit towards Highley. Yeah, I'm definitely rusty on the old driving on this. Yeah, nearly 10 years of not driving along, you know, Severn Valley. Your route knowledge does die out. You know, you've got to do it continuously. You know, 2, 3 to 4 to 5 years of not, you know, of not driving, and then driving at Severn Valley again. You know, you could be okay, but coming up to more like 10 years and that, you start to kind of, your memory starts to go a little bit more fuzzy. So, you know. We've got the museum, the Roundhouse Museum up there, look, with people overlooking. That's, I believe that wasn't there on the original Severn Valley Railway route, if I'm not mistaken. I will have a look round there in a bit. as we are going to stop at Highley. I can certainly see there's a lot of detail around here that I want to have a look round, so... Horse box. Train departure times. Yep. Fire buckets. Look, we've even got details like this, like the couple standing down here, looking towards Highley Station. Oh look, the ship in, home cooked food. Tells you about, you know, the pub that's down here, which is, I believe that's the Laughing Fish asset. Yeah, that's from the Lavender Line, which is actually on the BLS website now. So this actually requires a BLS route, funny enough. The Severn Valley Railway is actually required for this route as well. I noticed. Which is nice. Yeah, we got some milk bottles along there. I'm missing some kind of fence or something there. Don't know what that is. Engine house. Yeah, let's look at the engine house or roundhouse museum. It's engine house, isn't it? I call it roundhouse. I don't know why I call it that. That's like Barrow Hill, isn't it? Yeah, we've got people there. We've got this little train down here, which is cool. You know. Yeah, obviously, you know, this I mean, this asset does look quite old actually, so this might have been on the original. But you know, for what it is, it does the job. You know, it is the museum. At least it's there. We've even got like this viewing area down here as well, where you, obviously yeah, that looks really, really nice. To be honest, I wish I got a photo of the train coming along here now. Now I think about it, but yeah, we've got the gate here. Road signs, you know, underneath the bridge. I mean, the placement for all the whistle signs are correct. You know, it's even bent like it is in real life. I know that was bent in real life like that. I can remember it. So the fact that they've gone to the detail to actually bend the sign so it was diagonally slightly is just, it's just brilliant. Yeah. We need to find out what these assets are. I'm gonna have a look, you know, have a little browse and see if I can find out what's what. Yeah, let's try and get a nice. Can we get a nice? Yeah, that works. Okay, so let's move on. That ramp there in the centre of the track there is slightly on the piss near the point there, but it's not too much of a, not too much of an issue. So we will get up to the 25 mark at some point and we'll be able to open it up again. These dogfish wagons were actually there, funnily enough, in real life when I was down here, so that's very good placement. You know, I actually feel that the scenery is getting better and better as I go further down the route towards Bridgnorth. It really is. It is just fantastic. I'll keep in this view so we can see what we're looking at, but I'll give it some thrash. Oh no, the 15 limit, I forgot about that. No. Yeah, my route knowledge has gone on this section. It has gone. I will admit, it's gone. Again, I forgot about the 15 limit round there. It is very odd actually, the speed limits on Severn Valley. You do sort of get this, continuous array of 25 to 15, 25 to 15 relatively often in areas. It is strange in that regard. You kind of got to be on it, You can't just really just rag it, and it's not really that kind of railway or route that you can really do it on. I mean, I suppose you can in certain areas, but when it comes to that, and also it depends on the type of loco that you're driving as well. If you're driving a more sort of powerful loco, I mean, two 20s together, that's quite a lot of horsepower. But if it's just a single 20 or a single 33, you can thrash it more in that regard because of it will struggle more. As this is Country Park Holt, I believe this wasn't a custom asset originally on the original route, so let's see if that has changed. It has. And it's not too bad. We've got the little, even got the the rail, photo textured signs. I don't know how much is modelled for the country park, but I mean, I wouldn't expect too much. But we've got this bridge here over to it, which is nice. It's not a custom one, but it's it's there nonetheless. Also, I can't help but notice the the fact that they've actually overhanging the trees. That's a very smart, very nice look. We've got some rocks over here. Almost looks like a quarry, doesn't it? I don't remember this 10-mile-an-hour speed restriction, to be fair. This could be new in recent times. Maybe something to do with landslides? Maybe? It does look potentially like it's because of landslides. I mean, look how steep this is. Got a big ballast shoulder there as well. Maybe that is landslides, that's why it's... That's why it's happened. That is why they put it in place. Another guy with his bike there. I'm just going to see what image I can get from here, because that looks lovely. got like, you know, various bits of flowers beside the track, you know, different bits of flowers that I'm noticing. It is really, really nicely done. And I don't, what is really shocking me is we've got all of this lovely detail here and it's still running at 60 frames a second. I didn't even know if that was even remotely possible in TS. How has that been done so well? You know? I mean, look, the evidence is up there on the screen, guys. You know, that's 60 FPS with all of this detail. It's bloody smooth. Really smooth. Smoother than the Midhants Railway, actually. Smoother than the Midhants Railway super detailed route. Because that was a bit choppy in areas, you know. And that's why I've always been a little bit hesitant with these super detailed routes that SSS has been coming out with. I've always been a bit like, I'm not sure, you know, because the performance on, you know, some of them are a bit, you know. But this, I'm happy with the performance. I'm really happy with the performance. So we're just on the approach to Hampton Load now. We're going to get to that 20 limit and then have to shut off again and slow down. So as I say, there is some really odd speed limits on this. I mean, just look, you know, we've got bits of, you know, detail like this. You know, they would had to have put the research in to put all these like rocks and other bits and pieces, you know, in place. You know, all the various crossings in all their different, you know, their unique traits to the crossings. Yeah, see, there's no point in me speeding up towards Hampton Load because we're going to have to slow down anyway, anyway. Got sheep there. But yeah, if I'm to comment anything about this route, whoever downloads this, you're never going to want to touch the original Severn Valley Railway ever again. It's just, this is a whole nother level, you know? In fact, after driving this, I'll look at the original Severn Valley Railway route and probably cringe. It's, you know, this is just, I just can't believe the level of detail that's been put into this. You know, and I'm quite I consider myself a relatively critical person. Like, you know, I tend, if I see that something's wrong in train sim, I will say it. You know, I'm honest with that kind of stuff. But you know, this is impressive. You know, I mean, there's been a few floaty roads. Don't be wrong. You know, but you know, nothing is perfect. Let's have a look round Hampton Load. But you know, again, you know, you can get some really nice screenshots from this route as well. Like here, I'm going to get a nice one here. Yeah, we got the waiting room here with bits and pieces in there. Got all of the signs. These are here in real life. These are accurate to real life. So very well done there. Oh, there's a weird shader issue there. I don't know what that's all about. Just a TS thing, I don't. Building, again, smart. I think this is still the original building. I think all the buildings are original from the previous route. But that's not, again, you know, it's not bad. Look, we've got even some photo texture stuff, which is done incredibly nicely. Got this, you know, the gentleman's toilet. That's all there. Got the parcel office. You know, it's all this detail is here. You know, it's brilliant. I want to have a look over here because there was a train that ran round on the original route and it's still there. Look at that. We've got the little animated train still running round. Yeah. Oh look, it's old Coogee track. Yeah, I think that's always been a nice feature. It was on there on the original route as well, but it's done better than, you know. Has that got sounds? No, it's just some background sound in my house. But yeah, we've got see all the signs. We've got the entrance into Arley. Hampton Load. Got the refreshment rooms. You know, ticket booths. It's. And I think there's even some details around here. I mean, look at this. Great Western Railway, Hampton Load Station. Oh, Severn Valley Railway. Okay, so that's one of the assets that come with Severn Valley Railway. But we can just, we can just ignore that. Yeah, we'll just ignore what that says. There we go, Hampton Load, in all its glory, looking incredibly smart. If I may say so myself. Oh, I'll tell you a funny story as we come up to the cutting, leaving Hampton Load. So there is this cat that usually hangs around Hampton Load, just on the outside of the station. And he sort of, honestly I swear he has a death wish or something, because he usually sits on the rail of the track. And he comes out and then he just sits on there. And he was actually in front of my train when I was doing the driver experience on the 33, and I was toning, giving him the horns, trying to get him out of the way. Luckily he did run out of the way. But yeah, it was along this section, this cat. He just, you know, he always was around here, you know. It's usually just up here, so it'll be around these bushes where I am now. I'm actually looking out for a cat. Seeing if they actually modelled the cat for a laugh, that would be hilarious. But yeah, look, we've got all the caravans all present. Got an unusual ballast shoulder here, I must admit. We've also got no rail joint sounds on the coaching stock here either, which is interesting. It's all welded rail, perhaps? I know some people are looking forward to when we get up to Erdington Bank. The iconic spot for the Severn Valley Railway, in the means of, you know, where people go to take photos and videos of the trains. And just to hear the noise, you know. These 20s suit the line as well. Yeah, some great scenery work doing there. Funny enough, I'm now just thought about where I was slowed down for the landslide area. I'm sure there's supposed to be a house around there somewhere. I could be mistaken. I think it... Yeah, the house should be there, so I don't know why that... In the landsliding bit, where we slowed down for the sort of speed restriction. Could be wrong though. I'm sure there was a house there. Or maybe it's here, because there's a 5-mile-an-hour limit here. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ignore that 5-mile-an-hour limit, guys, because I actually do need to get going soon, because I've got other things that I need to do today. Oh no, the house is here. I was funny enough thinking, you know, oh, was that the house, you know, with the landslide? But yeah, they slowed down here because of the landslides. But yeah, this is the house I was on about, which is, you know, even this has got detail on it. You know, all this lovely detail. Chicken wire, look. Clothes hoist. No, detail in the garden. You know, that's just, you know, little bits like that I just love. You know, there's so many great photo opportunities as well on this scenic route. Like here. Got some construction work going on down here, look. Yeah, so just up to this crossing you can usually open them up and thrash towards Erdington Station. Yeah, there's definitely something going on here, look. Maybe they're putting some barriers down on the crossing or something. Right, so now we're at the bridge, we can give it some noise. I thought the track disappeared then. I was like, what? Here's Erdington. Okay, do you want me to be honest? This is quite underwhelming, Erdington Station, I must admit. We've just got this basic AP station asset with, you know, this hut and the old signs from the original route, not the 3D ones. So this looks quite, yeah, underwhelming. But I mean, this detail's lovely. Look, we've even got a gardener there doing his bit. It's got some nice stuff this side, but the station itself isn't great. I'm going to be honest, but you know, it's all right. It's not, it's detailed enough, but it's not as good as the other stations on the route. So here we are at the famous Erdington Bank. Got horses over there. They're Severn Valley assets again, I believe. Or are they new? No, I think they're the Severn Valley ones. Could be wrong though. Yeah, that's an iconic shot right there. See if I can try and get a nice Erdington Bank shot if I can. Yeah, that'll do. I am speeding, I need to slow down. These crossings are looking a lot better from the original route. I'm just taking in the scenery right now, you know, just taking it all in. It is breathtaking. I mean, this you know, this work, you can, you know, it's just, there is a lot of work that's been put into this. I'll go as far to say this is probably the best. Well, it's definitely one of the best super detailed routes out there. I mean, I'm still, you know, I still really love the Midlands Railway super detailed route that SSS have done. So I'm gonna obviously have that as one of my favourites. But it's definitely up there, and I think performance-wise, this actually performs better than the Midlands Railway route. So I think this could be up there as one of the best super detailed routes they've done so far. I'm going to be honest, it is. The North Norfolk Railway one, which was released recently on the 19th of December, that was okay, but I personally think that it was rushed slightly for release, and it didn't really... There's bits in it that could have been better. It needed polishing. It wasn't quite there, but I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, this is the real deal. You know, this is a route that we want to see. This is the quality that we want to see, you know. Also, that signal is at danger, and I'm speeding towards it. I was too busy looking at stuff. We've got this road bridge here with the sign on it. I mean, it's a bit that's a bit pixelated, but I think that's an old asset. That's probably why. You know, that's the excuse that we can have with this. So what we'll do when we stop at Bridge North, I will pause the game to have a look round, because otherwise it will end the quick drive session. But we have locos in stock in the sidings. We've got D9551 and 75069. Although 75069 has it seems to have all these lamps on it for some reason. I don't know what that's all about, but there we go. It looks like a reskin, potential reskin. I think that's a reskin, you know, that comes with the route. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, so here's the 20s coming in at 11 miles an hour. And we'll pause it there and have a look round Bridge North. But yeah, I'll get a photo of that because that looks smart. Yes, it does. It does indeed. Look at that. Look at it. Look at that. It's very nice. I do love our 20s that we've released recently. It's brilliant. Yeah, the Bridge North Station. Obviously, the original asset from the original route, but it doesn't matter. We've got Railman's Arms, which is the pub within Bridge North. That's all there. The station itself's got that nice sort of stone texture, you know, as it should do, as real life. We've got milk bottles here. Again, not sure what that is all about. Shop is open. Yeah, good. We've got all that detail. We've got the bridge, sort of over Bridge North, as it were, to the road over the other side, where, you know, you can see all of the road as you cross over here. Yeah, obviously, then they probably haven't put loads of detail in Bridge North, but we can come up here and have a look at some of the... Oh, hang on a minute. Oh my god, it has the lift. It actually has the Castle Hill Railway modelled. Okay, I was not expecting that. Fair play. Fair play. I was not expecting that. To come out here and see all this. As I say, I wasn't expecting them to do all the detail in the town area. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Fair enough. I mean, you wouldn't usually fly out here unless you really had to. You know, you can't really see this from the train, but you know, nevertheless, it's there. You know. We've got all this bit down here. You know, the bridge area, the restoration sheds, where... Yeah, that's the 71E yard clutter, so I'm missing whatever the other yard clutter is. But yeah, yeah, we've got all this lovely stuff around here. Look, we've got a tender, and you know, this is the Bridge North shed. And they're definitely jacks that I'm missing there. Yeah, that is definitely a lovely interpretation of Bridge North. I believe the signs, are they 3D again? Yes, they are. They've been replaced with 3D ones. Next thing you're going to be telling me that the rail cam is present on the post somewhere or something, you know. Yeah, that would be pretty insane. But no, yeah, this is a lovely route. It really is a lovely route. You know, there's so much to look at and so much to see. Wildlife, people. It feels very alive. There's plenty to look at. Okay, fair enough. I'm missing a few assets, but that's not much of an issue. I'm sure that I can find out what they are, and you know, maybe SSS will be able to help us out with that. But yeah, no, very very impressed, guys. Absolutely fantastic route. It's looking like it is in real life. We've even got point rodding and stuff. You know, it's little details. Yeah, absolutely brilliant route. Definitely been worth the wait on that. So yeah, if you guys haven't already, pick this up. I mean, it's not. I don't even know if it's released, so I don't even know how I can say that. It's an exclusive look of something that hasn't been released yet. It's the first time I've ever done this before, and it's great to finally, you know, be able to view, you know, show something of another developers that isn't released yet, and have that, you know, experience of doing that. So I want to thank Matt of SSS for allowing me to have a look and do a quick review of the route before it's released to the public. So yeah, thanks ever so much, guys. Steam Sound Supreme. Thanks everyone for watching. A very Merry Christmas to everybody, and I'll see you again in another video. And yeah, I'm impressed with this route. It's definitely up there. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys. It's been Samuel Beamon of BLS. I'll see you in another video. Goodbye for now.